Today on NewsWatch, Donald Trump heads to Mexico. Will his visit stir up new controversy over his stance on immigration? Plus, new questions about Hillary Clinton's top aide. Michele Bachmann talks with CBN News about Abedin's ties to the Muslim Brotherhood. And faith for the future. See how you can join Kirk Cameron, Ben Carson, and Francis Chan for this one-of-a-kind experience seeking revival in America. Thank you so much for joining us for CBN NewsWatch. I'm Ephraim Graham. Like a bolt from the blue, Donald Trump has announced he is going to Mexico today. Some see it as a risky move since Mexico's president has blasted Donald Trump before. Meanwhile, scandal allegations continue to dog Hillary Clinton as new emails could bring new revelations. Aldir Hurd is on this story.
Donald Trump will be paying a visit to a neighbor where he was thought to be persona non grata, especially after accusing Mexico of flooding the U.S. with criminals as he started his presidential campaign.
They're bringing crime. They're rapists.
Trump has vowed he would make Mexico pay for a wall.
We are also going to secure our border.
Angering Mexican leaders like former President Vicente Fox.
I'm not going to pay for that wall.
Trump was invited by and will meet privately with Mexican President Enrique Peña Nieto, who in the past has compared Trump to Hitler. But now Peña says he believes in dialogue in order to promote Mexico's interests. He's also invited Hillary Clinton to meet, but so far no response. Trump's visit is happening just hours before he travels to Arizona to clarify his stance on immigration, which his son says is not shifting or softening.
His policy has been the same for the last 6, 7, 8 months.
Meanwhile, more scrutiny of Hillary Clinton. New emails to be released could show how her response to the 2012 Benghazi attack was bungled. This comes after Clinton repeatedly claimed that she had already turned over all of her government-related emails. And there's more. The FBI says it will release information on its investigation of Hillary's email server. Plus, she must answer questions from the group Judicial Watch under oath. And some Democrats and a New York Times editorial say Hillary must go farther than she has and completely cut ties with the Clinton Foundation. A Times editorial said achieving true distance from the foundation is not only necessary to ensure its effectiveness, it is an ethical imperative for Mrs. Clinton. Many polls show the race tightening with Trump cutting into Clinton's lead, but she still leads in swing states and has an easier road to win the Electoral College. But with the debates yet to come, the race is still far from over. Dale Hurd, CBN News.
As Hillary Clinton's email scandal continues to hound her, many are raising their brows over who she surrounds herself with, namely her close advisor, Abedin. Former Congresswoman Michele Bachmann told CBN News' David Brody Abedini and her family have a more questionable past.
Abedin's father was a senior member of the Muslim Brotherhood. Her mother was a senior member of the Muslim Sisterhood. The Saudi royal family asked Abedin's parents to leave Michigan, where her father was a PhD and was teaching in Michigan. They asked them to leave Michigan and travel to Saudi Arabia and set up a magazine that ultimately became called the Journal of Minority Muslim Affairs. What this journal did is look at countries that were not Islamic countries, and they tried to push the advancement of Sharia law in countries that were not Islamic. So you have to ask yourself, what was the purpose of the Muslim Brotherhood? The purpose was to establish Islamic Sharia law everywhere. Abedin's parents were senior members in that organization with that purpose.
Abedin was an editor of that controversial magazine and has been a close advisor to Clinton for years. But what Bachmann sees as just as concerning is what a Clinton presidency with Abedin at her right hand could mean for Israel and Christianity.
The Bible tells us whoever speaks into the king's ear, that's who you need to be praying for, those counselors. Take a look at Hillary Clinton, Abedin, the people that she is surrounding herself with. When she is president of the United States, the enemies of Israel will be lifted up. I believe the enemies of biblical Christianity and biblical Judaism will be at risk.
We want to note that Michele Bachmann has also been an informal advisor to Donald Trump on foreign policy issues. The FBI's cyber division is warning state officials to boost their election security. It comes after hackers targeted online voter registration systems in 2 states. State election websites in Arizona and Illinois experienced hack-related shutdowns earlier this summer. Now, Arizona's top official in the election is speaking out, saying her state system looks clean.
We took our entire voter registration database offline so it could be inspected by a cybersecurity team. So the best of our knowledge and the best of their knowledge, no information was either hacked or stolen or compromised from our database.
But the hackers appear to be more successful against the Illinois Board of Elections, possibly putting some information from up to 200,000 personal voter records at risk. A man praying on Clemson University's campus was asked to leave by an administrator last Thursday. He was reportedly asked to leave because he was not in a designated free speech zone. Student and members of Young Americans for Freedom, Kyra Palang, questioned the policy after praying with that man. The Young Americans for Freedom Club plans to pressure Clemson to stop its policy of restricting speech on a public campus, especially when it comes to prayer. ISIS spokesman and chief strategist Abu Muhammad al-Adnani was killed Tuesday while overseeing operations in northern Syria. That admission came from ISIS. This is a significant blow to the terrorist group that has already lost senior commanders and founders this year. Adnani laid out the blueprint for the ISIS attacks in Orlando and Paris in 2014. He officially declared the establishment of the caliphate and called on all Muslims to kill non-Muslims. So far, the group has lost its strongholds in Fallujah and Ramadi and is on the retreat in Iraq and Syria. A rising Christian evangelist and convert from Islam has announced he has advanced stomach cancer. Nabil Qureshi has appeared on CBN to share his testimony. He grew up as a devout American Muslim and believed Islam to be a religion of peace. But after the September 11, 2001 attacks, Nabil was confronted with the stark reality of jihad. His search for answers about Islam ultimately led to Nabil's faith in Jesus Christ.
It became abundantly clear why people could be so violent in their practice of Islam, because the original teachings of Muhammad, there were some very, very violent teachings found in the traditions of Islam.
Now Qureshi will be tackling a new fight against stomach cancer. Qureshi wrote on Facebook, his clinical prognosis is grim, but, quote, Jesus is Lord, his blood paid my ransom, and by his wounds I am healed. We're praying for him. Evangelist and Pastor Greg Laurie held a huge outreach this past weekend. About 32,000 people showed up at Engel Stadium in Anaheim, California for the 27th annual Harvest Crusade, and about 4,000 came forward to devote their lives to Christ. Laurie also hosted a special guest at the event, actor and filmmaker Mel Gibson. Gibson talked about a possible sequel to his award-winning movie, Passion of the Christ.
Of course, that's a huge undertaking.
Yes.
And, you know, it's not the Passion, too. I mean, it's called The Resurrection.
That's right.
And
That's right.
of course, that's a very big subject.
Yes.
It needs to be looked at because we don't want to just do a simple rendering of it. I mean, we can all read what happened, but in order to really experience and explore probably deeper meanings of what it's about, it's going to take some doing. And Randall Wallace is up to the task.
Indeed he is. Randall Wallace is the award-winning filmmaker who wrote Braveheart and directed other films like We Were Soldiers and Heaven is for Real. Still to come, The Answer is Faith. We'll hear from Kirk Cameron about his new unique event, Seeking God for Revival in America. Christians in America are discouraged, hopeless, and afraid. Just a few words, Christian actor, speaker, and author Kirk Cameron says he plans to do something about, and he joins us now for an exclusive interview to announce this nationwide event. Kirk, thank you so much for being with us. What are you hearing across America as you travel and speak?
What I hear people saying often is, I feel so overwhelmed and demoralized by the darkness, by the moral decay. I feel it's just crowding in on my kids and my family. And they want to know, where's the power of the church? Where is the hope? Is this just the last days and it's all over? And what I want people to think about is that media will bombard you with so much that they want you to focus on. But God tells us to focus on other things. In this election cycle, some people are looking for a king to wave the magic wand and fix the foreign relations and fix the economy and racial problems. We don't need a king. We already have a king, right? And his foreign policies are perfect. He's the ruler of the nations. His border control is excellent. He says to the ocean, you come this far and no further. He understands. What we need is to remember who we are and whose we are, and begin electing leaders who will represent the king's ways in our land, because they're good for everybody.
So what do you advise people of faith to do in this election cycle?
People need to know that our hope is not found in the president or in the Supreme Court. It's not in the great accomplishments or in how many medals we win or how many likes we have on Facebook. Our hope is in the power of God working in the hearts of you and me, our kids, our families, our churches, communities, and we, with God's help, are the ones who will revive the nation from the inside out and the bottom all the way up to the top. And the key is participate, be involved, understand that you are part of the solution. You say, why all the darkness? You are the light of the world. Somebody said that, remember?
Indeed.
Wait, but what about all the corruption? What about all the decay I see around me? You are the salt of the earth. Someone important said that, right? We have to not sit home on election day. We have to get involved and participate, because God working through us is the solution.
Now, that brings us to the October 18th event. You've described this as somewhat of an old-fashioned tent revival. What's going to happen?
Well, that's what I love about Fathom Live events, is it takes a movie theater and turns it into a community revival meeting over something that we all believe in. And so on October 18th, Dr. Ben Carson, me, Francis Chan, Dr. James McDonald, Eric Metaxas, Passion, and the Vertical Church Band, we're going to be together for an exciting interactive event where you're going to be able to be in your theaters tweeting in questions. We're going to be answering those questions. There's going to be inspiring messages, a time to pray and worship with people in your theaters, in your community. And together we're going to discover the one and only strategy that has always worked in every generation, on every continent, and never failed to revive a nation morally, spiritually, and economically when it is applied. It's a night of hope, vision, and courage, and I want everyone who's watching this to come.
Now, you have listed an impressive list of guests there. How did you go about choosing those particular people to participate and lead this with you?
I've been very privileged to meet amazing people over the years. And because of my love for our God, I've met a lot of amazing pastors and ministers. And because of my love for our founding fathers and the principles of this nation, I've met people like Ben Carson who understand those principles. And I've always said to myself, I don't want all these great conversations and experiences to be wasted on me alone. I want other people to come in and be a part of this. And so that's what Revive Us is about. October 18, in likely over 1,000 movie theaters across the country, they're going to be turned into white tent revival centers where we're going to fill our sails full of hope and vision and plans of action for the near future.
How do people participate? We know they can go to their theaters. Tickets are on sale. What do we do?
You can find out more information by going to reviveus2016.com. That's reviveus2016.com. Get all your information there.
Beautiful. Now, I know many Christians believe America needs another great awakening. You say there's one sure strategy that's worked in the past and will work again. Explain.
I think that we serve a God who revives nations that turn their back on him. He's done that all throughout history. He's done that in England over and over. He's done it in America. We see God is slow to anger, and He is gracious, and He is kind. And we saw that, when the Pilgrims landed and their children turned away from the faith, and the moral decline was deplorable. But then the preaching of the gospel comes in through George Whitefield, and there's a revival, there is a turning back to the Lord. And make no mistake, no nation has a chance. No nation has any hope of recovering morally, spiritually, economically, apart from the church. Not pagans, not enemies of the faith, but the church, the people of God, turning their hearts fully back to the one that has blessed them with the gospel.
Thank you so much. We'll have a link to this story on our website at cbnnews.com. Thank you so much, Kirk Cameron. We appreciate it.
Thank you. My pleasure. Good to talk to you.
You too. Up next, take a virtual trip to the mission field. Charlene Aaron will be here to show you how one ministry is using technology to give supporters a powerful experience on the front lines.
Most missions agencies know the best way to get someone involved in their work is to give them a first-hand experience. But overseas trips can be expensive and problematic. Now, Lancaster, Pennsylvania-based Hope International is using virtual reality to let people visit the mission field without ever leaving home. Peter Greer is Chief Executive Officer of Hope International, and he joins us now for more. Peter, explain what virtual reality is and how you're using it.
Well, just as you said, I wish that I could take all of our friends, all of our supporters to go into homes and into the communities where we serve, but it's just not possible. But I remember the first time that I tried on a virtual reality headset. It's as if you're actually there. You look up and you see the sky, and you look down and you see the dirt. You look to the left and the right, and it's as if you are there. And so we've created a virtual reality experience that through a headset allows us to bring our friends to the places where we serve all around the world.
Absolutely amazing. Well, describe their reaction. Are they moved or touched emotionally by the experience?
Yeah, I remember first time I showed it to a friend that due to a health issue was never going to be able to go. And yet that individual had been a faithful supporter of Hope for years. And for the first time, I felt like I was there in the home of John, one of the individuals that we serve. He's a carpenter, and felt like we just were transported from where we were in this living room to literally into a home in Malawi. It was a powerful experience. And again, for people that have never experienced the reality of poverty around the world, it is an emotional experience where you get to see what so much of the world lives like. And again, through virtual reality, it's not as good as being there, but it's the second best thing to actually allow our friends to experience the ministry of Hope International.
Well, Peter, tell me, how did you create this VR, this virtual reality experience?
So I believe that this technology, it's been rapidly increasing, and I think it's going to be an opportunity for a lot of missions organizations to use a new tool to more effectively communicate what it is that they do. First time I tried it on, I was just blown away because, again, you feel like you're actually there. You feel like you're in that community or in that home. And so we have some friends that own a company, Greenfish Labs, here in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, and they very generously took us on as a client. And so we created this tool, virtual reality experience. But my hope is that over time, we'll be able to capture different stories from around the world that won't just be going to Malawi, but we'll be able to go to multiple countries where we serve and allow people to understand what is this model, how does it work, and to look into the eyes of individuals that they've been a part of their story. They've been investing in them, and through this tool, I want them to be able to see their eyes, see their homes, see the businesses that have been created, and see the impact that they're having.
Well, Peter, how can people take part in this virtual reality experience?
Well, there is an opportunity for individuals that want to go on our website. You can get a scaled-down version. It's not quite the same thing at hopeinternational.org, but there also are events that we're having around the country where we are rolling out this virtual reality technology. And so there's a list of these events on our website as well. And so it would be great if anyone is interested. We'd love to take you with us to Malawi without leaving your home. So you can find out where we're going to be showing up around the country this fall on hopeinternational.org.
Sounds fascinating. And tell us about the work that Hope International is doing in these parts of the world.
I remember when I was a kid going on mission trips, and they were powerful experiences to actually show up. And the model of ministry that as I was a kid, what we would do is we would see that individuals didn't have food. And so we as a church community would provide food. And we'd see that individuals didn't have clothes, and so we would give generously. But you do that sort of a ministry model for long enough and you realize the food gets eaten and people are hungry again. The clothes wear out and they need to be replaced. And so kind of had a change of approach in my own heart and also as an organization where we believe what moms and dads want is not necessarily the long-term charity of others, but to actually have the ability to take care of their own families. And that happens through employment. It happens through the gift of work. It happens through a job. And so our approach is to provide investments so that individuals can start or expand a small business. It's to provide saving services. It's to provide business coaching and training. And it also ultimately is about discipleship and sharing the hope of Jesus Christ. So we help provide jobs and provide the hope that is found in Christ.
Absolutely fascinating. Peter Greer, thank you so much for joining us today. God bless.
Thank you. You too.
CBN has helped more than 3,000 people in a southwestern Nigerian village to get the medical help and the care they need for free. Among the services and medical help, 5 surgeries, 19 cataract procedures, 415 medical glasses, and 35 teeth extractions. In addition to benefiting from the medical help, about 100 people gave their lives to Christ. Well, right now it is time for your Wednesday word, and today's word is rest. I shared this on social media a few days ago, but I'd like to pass it along today. When you cast your cares on Christ, rest renders reward. So lay aside every weight, every care, and every worry, and never forget, He cares for you. That is going to do it for this edition of CBN NewsWatch. You can find more of our exclusive coverage of the issues you care most about at cbnnews.com. Hope you'll join us again right here next time. Make this a wonderful Wednesday. We'll see you back here tomorrow.